Hey guys, welcome back. Be Humboldt here, and this is our 6th episode of the Crown Tundra playthrough. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. It's not necessarily going to be a playthrough style, but I'm going to be showing you guys the best way to kind of optimize mark hunting for the 3 legendary birds. Hello, this is future me butting in for a second here. I forgot to mention something at the beginning of this video that I wanted to add in. I would highly recommend, if you haven't already, to get the Mark Charm. If you don't know what the Mark Charm is, it helps you increase your odds of finding a marked Pokemon in the wild. I think it gives you an additional 2 rerolls when you encounter a Pokemon to get the chance of having a mark on it. So to get the Mark Charm, all you have to do is complete your Isle of Armor Pokedex. So once you fill up every entry in the Isle of Armor Pokedex, you go to the Isle of Armor train station, and inside there is a scientist, researcher woman who will give you the Mark Charm for completing the Pokedex. So it's simple as that. The Mark Charm is super helpful. For example, a weather mark normally has a 1 in 50 chance of being on a Pokemon when you catch it. If you have the Mark Charm, though, it's a 3 in 50 chance. So it's not a huge increase, but it's good enough to where your odds, the odds are in your favor. So I would highly recommend doing that before you start hunting, especially before you start hunting the legendary birds. It'll make it that much easier for you. So enough of me talking, back to past me. So we're gonna start off with Articuno here. So I've kind of pressure tested this method a little bit and it seems to be working. So what we want to do for Articuno is that it seems to be always spawning, well, not always spawning, but it spawns majorly at the snowslide slope. So if we fly here, there's a very high chance that Articuno would appear above us. And if it doesn't, as in this scenario, the best way to kind of reset it is just go down south, go to Giant's Bed, get a little far in, and then just fly back and just kind of reset the area. And then we have Articuno. So on the bicycle, follow Articuno up the slope here, and there will be a ledge where Articuno will kind of land or perch where it would be easiest to interact with it. So just continue going up the slope here, past all the very aggressive, fast Bearticks, and the Matangs and the Cryogonals. So when you get to this little foresty area up here, there's a little path to the left. So just go down that path and Articuno will be here on this ledge. So when you get to this point, I would save. Okay, so once you save your game, Articuno is going to multiply like this. And what's worked for me is that usually the first Articuno that kind of slows down in front of me seems to be the correct Articuno. And then, of course, disappear and then land on you. So the best method of checking to see if Articuno has a mark here is if you still have a Master Ball that you haven't used yet. Just kind of throw the Master Ball at it first, and remember we saved our game. So if it does have the mark we want or a mark we want, we can actually just exit out of the game, don't save, and then just re-enter the game because that Articuno will not respawn unless you leave the area or defeat it. So we have whatever that Articuno was before we saved, that will be there until you, like I said, you either leave the area or you kill it. So we're just gonna go to summary here. And this one does not have a mark. So what we're gonna do is exit the game. Just go back in. And what we're gonna do this time, we're gonna encounter it again, but we're gonna actually knock it out this time. And I think this method is a little bit quicker than to fly out and fly back in my opinion. Because the only way to reset the mark and reset the Pokemon is to leave the Crown Tundra altogether. Like, even flying out somewhere else in the Crown Tundra wouldn't necessarily reset it. Oops. And that's exactly what happens if you get the wrong Articuno. Cool. Alright, so I just reset, left the area, and then now I just came back, and we're doing this again, so to just continue just checking. So yeah, just continue this method over until you find an Articuno mark. Remember to save every time before you encounter it, especially in case if you accidentally fail it when you do have a mark. That way you can just, you know, try again, no worries. But yeah, we're just gonna check this Articuno. So I threw another Master Ball at it. And we got it. And of course, if you want to chuck your Master Ball at it and just be done with it, totally fine. If you want to keep it in a Master Ball, totally up to you. I personally am reserving my Master Balls for shiny Pokemon or anything special. Ooh, so we have an Articuno with a mark, and that one looks pretty cool. I'm gonna send this to a box. Alright, jotted it down. Great. Okay. Great. Wanna check the mark I just found, Peony. Please and thank you. Alright, so we have... Oops. That is not what I wanted. Alright, so... Ooh, Articuno the Shivering, the Blizzard mark. So this is actually a really cool mark, and I would love to have an Articuno with this mark, but just not in a Master Ball. So what we're gonna do is exit out of the game, and since I saved before entering that particular battle, we can just go back and recapture the Articuno, and it should still have the same mark. So this is kind of like the best method, especially if you want to catch your Pokemon in a specific ball. Like, I know Premier Balls and Luxury Balls are kind of the top balls people like to catch special Pokemon in. So do this again and again. If you hit the wrong one by accident when you're doing this method, you can always just X out and save. Or just X out. You don't need to save. Don't save. Alright. So I will cut back when we get the Articuno. Alright. So guys, we finally caught it. Took a couple of attempts. I forgot that hail was a factor in this case because it is hailing out. So if you are dealing with weather, make sure you have a Pokemon on your team that can kind of reset weather to something that won't be as harmful, like sun or rain. That would be the best advice I could give. So if we go back to this Articuno, we still have the mark here, and I caught this one on a Heal Ball just because I thought the animations when it came out of the Heal Ball looked great and it paired well, and this one is also timid. That's pretty awesome. So our first marked Galarian bird is done. Yes. Alright, so we have Zapdos in the wild area, and then of course Moltres and the Isle of Armor. So we'll be going after the Zapdos next. So I'll see you guys in the wild area. Alright guys, so we're on to Zapdos here. So for Zapdos, a quick method is to just go to the meetup spot, which is the train station you get off at right before you enter the wild area. So go to the meetup spot and you should hear Zapdos' cry once you get there. There you go. So I'm just gonna save. Just save, why not? And then when you get out of here, you should see Zapdos right over there. So what you're gonna do is just chase after Zapdos. Fortunately, that's what you gotta do for Zapdos. Just keep chasing him. He'll eventually start to kind of tucker out as you get closer and closer to him. So you just gotta kind of keep at it until you finally get to a spot. We're close enough to snag this boy. Well, what you should have done, what I should have done, I was trying to hit the button, but I wasn't expecting him to stop that fast. I was trying to save when I got close enough to him, but you know, gotta do what you can do sometimes. So I'm just gonna throw a Master Ball at him, and it's gonna be kind of the same type of thing as Articuno. So we're gonna chuck a Master Ball if you have it, if not, then unfortunately you're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way, which is just battling them, which can be a bit of a hassle, but we're gonna catch our Zapdos here and see if it has a mark. And if it doesn't, which it doesn't, simply turn off the game. So something that might be faster for Zapdos in particular here is actually the method of flying out of the wild area, flying out of Galar itself actually. So you'll probably have to fly either to the Crown Tundra or the Isle of Armor. Because if you don't get close enough to Zapdos to save, like you saw I just did, then you're gonna have to go through the whole entire running process again. So I am going to click fly over to Isle of Armor. Just to reset the spawn. You can hear Moltres is there, but we're not going after Moltres. No, 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 no. We're going after our boy Zapdos because he is a cool Roadrunner and I just want a spiky Roadrunner. Alright, so we just heard his cry. I'm gonna save again just for good measures. And unfortunately, we're gonna have to repeat this whole entire process again. Oh, but he is not there. He's over here this time. Okay. So unfortunately, it doesn't matter where he kind of starts off. You're gonna just kind of have to follow him anyway. And hopefully I don't encounter him in the hail again. There, run away. And it definitely helps in this situation if you have the most powerful Rotom bike. Finally get back to Zapdos. Again, throwing up our Master Ball at it just to show mark does change, or the spawn does change. Hopefully we get a mark this time. That'd be great. Honestly, I wouldn't mind any mark that's not the sociable mark or kind of like a time-based mark, because those are the most common. I wouldn't even mind if it was like the sun mark here. Let's see. No marks. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'll probably do a little time lapse of how long it actually takes me to catch Zapdos here and find a mark on it. And then in the meantime, get back and relax, and I will see you guys as soon as I get the mark. So this has been a task and a half. I have probably done this encounter 40 to 50 times already, and this is the first time I got, or first mark I got. And you know what? I'm just gonna go with it. As much as I would love to get like some personality mark or something, I don't want to keep doing this encounter all over again. Ugh. So, I'm gonna catch this one in a nice ball and then call it a day with Zapdos. Oh my god, finally. Alright guys, we finally got Zapdos. Add him to the Pokedex. Double check to make sure the mark is still there. And it is. Alright, so we are sending Zapdos to a box. Even though it's not the mark I necessarily wanted, I'm still okay with it. Because, I don't know, I know peckish means hungry, but he got a long beak, so I don't know, I feel like it still kind of fits him. And I caught him in an Ultra Ball because those colors just made the most sense with this color scheme, so here we have it, 2 of the 3 legendary birds down. And next we will be on to Moltres. Alright guys, we're gonna tackle the last legendary bird, Moltres. So to do this, be sure you're on your bike before you fly over to the Isle of Armor. But pull up your map and fly over to the Master Dojo. And Moltres will spawn basically right outside, so you gotta catch up with it quick before it flies off. It's literally right there. Just make sure you encounter it. And before you encounter it, make sure you save your game, because we're gonna start throwing some Master Balls at it and see if we get a mark. Alright, so there's our bad boy Moltres. Again, we're just gonna do the method that we did with the previous 2 birds and just start off throwing a Master Ball before we decide to battle it, and try to get it in a good ball if it has a mark. So we caught Moltres. Let's take a look at it. See if this has any type of mark on it. That, I think, is a social ball mark. So I'm going to just send it to a box and just confirm that. If it is the social ball mark, I am going to get rid of this thing. The social ball mark, if you don't know, is probably one of the most common marks you can get on a Pokemon. So let's just confirm. Yep, Moltres is social ball. So we are not going to keep that one. So in order to keep respawning new Moltres, all you have to do is go back into the game. And basically all we're gonna do is do the knockout method. And from that, it'll be the quickest way to respawn new Moltres. And we'll get into that as soon as we knock out this Moltres here. So let it counter us again, and then we're just gonna knock it out. So make sure you have a Pokemon in your front of your party that has a move that can more or less one-hit KO it. And it's great because if you run out of PP on your moves, you can always go to the dojo and just use their store machine. Oh, no sucker punch, even though it's a bird. You don't have hands, you can't punch. Alright, so Moltres is down. And what we're gonna do now is just save and close the game. Simple as that. Moltres is probably the easiest of the birds to encounter after going through so many different methods. With like Articuno and Zapdos, Moltres has definitely been the easiest one. At least from my point of view. So by closing the game and restarting, we're actually respawning a fresh new Zapdos onto the map. So this one that we're about to encounter should not be the same that we found before. And it'll literally just be right there as soon as we enter the game. So all you have to do is just stay in one spot and let it come to you. So before you encounter it again, just save. And to see what it has, we'll just throw a Master Ball at it. Pretty simple. I also like how Moltres encounters you or starts the battle without even touching you. I think that's just kind of fun. Alright, and then Master Ball this. Alright. See if it has a different mark. And no marks. And this one is docile in nature instead of jolly, which we had before. So basically you just keep repeating this method over and over until you get the mark you want. And it's a relatively easy method compared to the other two. So you can probably get, if you really wanted to, you can go for a really rare mark. But anyway guys, I will cut back and when I find the mark that I want. Alright guys, we're back, and I found a really cool mark on this Moltres. Unfortunately, did not get to capture the footage of me finding it and then catching it. I got way too excited when I was doing this off screen that I just saved, but we found a Moltres with a rare mark, and is Moltres the Recluse. And this is the rarest mark you can get on a Pokemon in the wild right now. It is a 1 in 1,000 chance. And then it's a 3 in 1,000 chance if you have the Mark Charm to increase your odds. So that was pretty cool. So I'm very, very excited for this Moltres. Kind of makes up for the fact that I didn't get a good mark on the Zapdos at all. So after we caught the Moltres, I decided to go talk to Chief Peony, since we now have all 3 of the legendary birds. So we're gonna do that and then just see if we get anything or if there's any special event that happens here. And we got the legendary birds. Do I have to go through all of them? Okay. I'm not gonna read all this, but is there anything else? Was that it? Does he just literally tell you about all the birds? Okay. Yes, he does have thick legs. I can tell you that for sure, yes. Alright, so basically, he's just telling about all the legendary birds. Yes, the body event fire. Yes, yes, yes. Alright. Oh, alright, is that it? I guess that is it. No, that's about it for now. So we have all the legendary birds, and I've shown how to get all like the best kind of methods that I know about at the moment to get the marks on the birds. So if you guys enjoyed this video and kind of like this more kind of bite-sized content where we're not doing kind of more of a playthrough style but more informational, let me know. Give a like, leave a comment if you're enjoying the content. But for now guys, I will leave you, and just remember, stay kind and be humbled.